Oh. Oh god. So I'm not too sure how much I discussed about the last weekend's sort of issues and bits and bobs of problems. Essentially, I had some issues with the water tank. Some fittings weren't quite done up tightly enough. I'm going to say it's mainly for my fault. I'd have hoped that they would have been done properly when the tank was made, but I really should have checked them myself anyway. You shouldn't leave anything to luck on the boating type arenas. So it wasn't a bad leak or anything. It was a large dribble, let's call it, which I have now got down to a very, very fine drizzle. That's how one way of describing it, I'd say. So tonight, I brought home from work some manly tools. So annoyingly, all I had with me the other day when I actually noticed the drain was a pair of adjustables. So I could get, this is a little trick for anyone who I don't know, may or may not know this, but there's a little trick when you're doing fittings. Obviously fittings are normally got a hexagonal shape to them, so you can get a pair of adjustables, or if they're totally round, then that's why you're using your monkey grips, so you can get the purchase on them. Oh, this camera actually is not going well tonight. Excuse me. So if you've got a round pipe, let's get that down a little bit, show you. So a round pipe, the idea of these grips is a round pipe. Still not turn off. As you can see there, as I try and turn my finger, they grip on my finger. So with round pipe work, trying to crush my finger. With round pipe work, when you've got no purchase on an item, you can use these to grip on the item and get a turn on it. So the actual fitting that I need to turn, it's a welded on nipple, which is just a thread essentially that comes out of the water tank, and it's got an elbow on it, and the elbow has got female, it's a 90-degree elbow, it's got female, so an open entrance with a BSP tapered thread on either side of the fitting. That fitting screws onto the nipple, and then into the other side of the elbow I've got a plug, which is just essentially it's just a threaded piece of metal with an Allen key on the top, so you can screw that into the elbow and you can plug the top of the elbow. So you've got nipple, elbow, plug. The plug's made, I made sure that's all now good. I've turned the elbow around a few more turns onto the nipple, so it's tightened it up along the BSP thread, but it's still leaking ever so slightly, and I can't get enough purchase with a pair of adjustables, which obviously are not made for the job. Adjustables are made for a hexagonal fitting or something that they can grip onto. So what I've been doing, if you can imagine, this is probably a bad way of trying to show it, but you've got your elbow like that, ignore my hand, you've got an elbow, comes out of the tank and upwards. So if you can get, where's the adjusties? The adjusty bubbles. Got your adjuster bubbles. So imagine that's the elbow. If you can get your adjuster bubbles onto the elbow, you can turn it like so. It's a little trick, little technique. So if you haven't got the right tools, sometimes you can make tools which aren't made for the job, fit the job, and get the job done. So essentially that was what I did last weekend, and I made sure that last weekend, I don't know why I'm saying that, because it was like a day or two ago, But I made sure that the water tank was good enough for me to leave, go to work and come back, and I wouldn't have another quarter of a tank gone or whatnot. Now I can't believe I didn't notice it, but the first time I checked it I thought, well, the tank's gone down quite a lot. Oops, excuse me, I'm banging around all my extension bars that I bought for trying to get the fitting, the extra half a turn or a turn that I'm about to do at any moment. But yeah, essentially I just I made it good. I don't know how it went down. I don't know, it must have been, I'm going to say it's probably over about 2 weeks it's been slowly dropping. And I checked it the first time and I thought, oh, it's gone down quite a lot, more than I would have thought since the time I filled it up. And when did I fill it up? The video was only about 2 weeks ago, so yeah, it must be roughly about right. And then I checked it a couple of days later and it was really empty. Like I was knocking the tank, sort of just listening to the sound of the reverberation as it went down. And yeah, I was just surprised how empty it sounded. Obviously I look in there, it's like bloody empty. Checked the fittings, found one of them was a little bit wet. I went and had a look at the inspection hatch video, which I may or may not have, already posted. And yeah, saw a bit of moisture and water down there. Not to a bad extent, it was literally like a millimetre or two deep. Because you've got to imagine it's the whole length of the boat, which is, or the cabin, I'd say, is about 16 foot roughly. I think that's what Alan said. So just mopped up the bits I could get to, sort of undoing floorboards and taking the whole boat apart. But I did put the camera under there again, video which may or may not be included previous or within this video. And just made sure it was all good. It wasn't anything drastic, but it wasn't something which I particularly wanted to happen. Naturally, no one wants water going into their boat in any way whatsoever, so having the water tank do that was, it's kind of the last thing I really wanted. It's almost like I tried to make sure every single little thing I checked, and somehow this got overlooked. So it's the way it goes a lot of the time. No matter how careful you are, sometimes things just go wrong and you just got to keep on top of them. I think that is part of boating life. There's no point letting these things get on top of you, or oh my god, the water tank's gone wrong, or this or that. No, it's just a little problem. It's just another little thing that you can fix. We can all fix these things, guys. Don't ever let anything get on top of you, because we're all capable of this. If one man can do it, you can do it. You just need to apply yourself. That's the way I always look at everything. So application of the mind is the main thing. So anyway, going on from my little rant there, another little thing. This is my father's, well, now deceased father. It's his little barometer, which I managed to, well, I didn't, my mother managed to find it somewhere, so let me have it. I'm not sure if it's quite calibrated right, because it's on change at the moment and it's absolutely having it down with rain, so it may not be quite correct. But if anyone knows about these things, do let me know. There's a little calibration note here. How to set a barometer. Okay, so it's been calibrated for, oh, for God's sake, been calibrated for 270 foot 3 inches. Oh God, trying to smash it up before I leave it anyway. 270 foot 0.3 inches 10 millibar / HPA. Not too sure what that measurement is. 10 millibar pressure. Anyway, something like that. So hopefully it's fairly accurate, but it might need recalibrating, because that probably would have been like 20 years, 25, maybe 30 years ago that was actually calibrated. So yeah, it's just a nice little barometer. can't imagine it's anything particularly expensive, but got a little dent in it where someone's obviously smashed it up already. Nice one, old man. But yeah, I think it would look nice on the boat. I might try and get it recalibrated in some respect, but I'm not too sure how that works. So it's another little thing to get my head round, and maybe something else to learn. That's what life is all about, learning more things, getting more experience and becoming more adept. Master of all trades, jack of none. Or jack of all trades, master of none. See that? I can't even bloody get the phrase out. Oh god. Anyway, still raining. Oh, the old fire's going nicely. Let's give it a little stoke over. A stoke and a poke in the old fire. Not sure how well this will come up. Oh, look at that, the coals are just catching on nicely now. Them coals catch up a bit, and then we'll chuck a few more on. Get in there. Oh, I can feel the heat coming out there, definitely. That's nice and warm. Oh, right, so anyway, I'll be at it for 20 minutes, so I'll shut up there. Stop my awful video wobbling around and going all over the place. And I'll probably natter some more and talk some more rubbish tomorrow. Or maybe another day, we'll see. Cheers everyone. Thanks for watching the boat they call Bosley. And hopefully there'll be more crazy little travels coming up soon. Cheers everyone. Bye.